We are hearing from the Baraboo student who refused to participate in a prom photo pose that appears to be the Nazi salute.
And as the process to finalize election results officially needs to begin today, we are learning about some of the people Governor-elect Tony Evers is bringing to the state capitol with him.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Tuesday, November 13th. I hope you had the multiple blankets ready for the overnight and into this morning. We are just 17 degrees out. And how do you say, unfortunately, not going to get too much warmer out there.
No, it's really going to feel more like January today than November. It's much colder than it should be for this time in the year. Here's a look at our current conditions. What we do see, though, that is cool.
Yeah.
Some holes in the clouds and a little bit of light.
A little bit of sunshine.
I think that's more than we saw yesterday, so we're already winning this morning. Skies will begin to clear out as we go through the day today, but it's going to be a cold one. Temperatures are down in the teens. At least we're still at 17 here in Madison. The Dells dropping to 16, 18 in Mineral Point, down to 15 in Monroe. That's only part of the story, though. There is a northwesterly wind sending those wind chills down into the single digits this morning. So as you get ready to head out the door today, keep in mind that you will see some sunshine for the afternoon, so grab those sunglasses, but extra layers as well. High temperatures will only be in the middle 20s this afternoon. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll see what's happening on the roads. An earlier accident on 151 southbound, this is in between Columbus and Sun Prairie, has that road blocked in one direction between exit 115 and 108, so be aware of that. Otherwise, here in Madison, starting to see some slowdowns on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. No major delays, though. Looks like you're still traveling at posted speeds and all those major routes into the city.
We'll keep an eye on that accident, too, because that could be problematic once we start the commute.
Pretty busy corridor.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Shamed, appalled, and angered.
That right there is the Baraboo School Board President, Kevin Vodak, speaking at last night's meeting after a photo surfaced showing a group of teenage boys from the high school appearing to give the Nazi salute. Now, both the school and the police department are investigating after that photo from last spring's prom was tweeted Sunday night by a student-run account, along with the comment, "We even got the black kid to throw it up," and hashtag Baraboo proud. That post has since been removed. The Auschwitz Memorial tweeted about the photo yesterday, saying, quote, "We need to explain the danger of hateful ideology rising." The photographer who took the photo told Madison 365 the picture was innocent and that he told the kids to give him a high five sign and wave to their parents.
One student who's in the picture says that's just not true. 18-year-old Jordan Blue says the man who took the photos told that group to make the racist gesture. Blue says his morals, that is, wouldn't allow him to put up the Nazi salute.
There was a parent in the crowd crying out saying, "Don't do it, stop, stop, stop." And I was looking at my mom during that time, and she knew how much pain and how much hurt that I was going through during that exact moment.
So the school district offered a number of statements throughout the day yesterday condemning the photo and what it represented. In a letter to parents, Baraboo School District Administrator Dr. Lori Miller called the photo extremely troubling. She went on to emphasize, quote, "Let us be very clear. Hate has no home in the Baraboo School District." She added that all people are accepted regardless of race or religion. She says the district's working with parents, staff, and authorities to figure out the next course of action. The city's police department is looking into the situation to determine if anyone should be criminally charged.
Overnight, Jewish leaders sent out a joint statement about the photo. The Milwaukee and Madison Jewish Federations, the Wisconsin Jewish Conference, and the Midwest Anti-Defamation League said they are, quote, alarmed by the disturbing display of anti-Semitism. They went on to say it reflects an increase in anti-Semitism and other forms of bigotry. They also expressed concern over those sentiments, particularly in schools, and said hateful expressions have to be a call to action to schools and families to teach kids to respect diversity and embrace difference. Baraboo residents are also responding to that picture with a photo of their own. A group met at the courthouse around 4 yesterday afternoon at the same spot where the students had taken that photo. But this time it was filled with hearts, rainbow flags, and smiles. Some students at that event said they think their classmates didn't understand the symbols they were making and that hate is not what this community stands for.
Your time right now is almost 6:05, and as we head into the season of giving, some nonprofits are a bit worried that new tax law changes could affect just how much of that giving happens.
The new tax plan approved by Congress last year nearly doubles the standard deduction for individuals and families. Josh Breiter is live from a nonprofit in Middleton to explain the impact on their donations. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. It leaves a lot of uncertainty for nonprofits like Gilda's Club, which supports children dealing with cancer and their families. You'll remember we were reporting live from here just a couple of months ago. They're still working to bring this place back to life after around $1.4 million in flooding damage. But then you add on the new tax plan on top of that. The standard deduction rose to $12,000 for individuals and $24,000 for married couples. As a result of the change, the charitable deduction would be out of reach of more than 87% of taxpayers. The Joint Committee on Taxation estimates that itemized deductions will drop by $95 billion this year. So that leaves nonprofits like Gilda's Club questioning their future when heavily relying on a steady stream of donations.
Even though many people believe in the mission of Gilda's Club and the work that we do, there are still people who are not able to give or who choose not to give because there isn't going to be a tax benefit to them. But the hope is that they will return to us and continue to support our work because there are families that are facing cancer today that need our work.
Though Gilda's knows our community will never stop giving, they do know that tax incentives are important to how much people give. They're asking the community to remember nonprofits and charities going into the holiday season who rely on you giving in order to succeed going on. Ladies.
Reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Josh. And we want to remind you, the IRS has information on their website to help you navigate those new tax laws. You can go through a paycheck checkup to determine if you need to adjust your withholding or make tax payments now. You can find that document on irs.gov/getready.
At the state capitol today, the Joint Finance Committee will meet to talk about the cost of transitioning power to Governor-elect Tony Evers and his cabinet. Assembly Democrats also caucused today after Assembly Speaker Robin Vos sent a message to Evers saying Republican lawmakers will not, quote, roll over and play dead. The GOP caucus met yesterday. Speaker Vos says while there are bipartisan issues, Evers' victory last week is not a mandate for everything to change across the state. Meanwhile, the governor-elect has named some of the members of his team. That includes a former UW Board of Regents president, a former Teacher of the Year, and the CEO of Exact Sciences. A spokesperson for Evers says he will keep his current role as state superintendent until he is sworn in on January 7th.
Today is the deadline for county canvassing boards to start the process of approving results of the election. The results of the canvass have to be sent to the Wisconsin Elections Commission by Friday. From there, the Elections Commission has until December 1st to certify those results. All right, 6:08 your time now. There is a fire reported at the Blue Moon Bar and Grill on Madison's near west side this morning. We've got a crew on the way. We're going to get you an update as soon as we can. Speaking of fires, we are continuing to watch wildfires in California this morning. We're talking about flames hot enough to melt cars, high winds that aren't helping the situation there. Chris Reese is looking at what other factors spark this kind of devastation.
In comparison, we are expecting a very calm week weather-wise here in southern Wisconsin. Hattie does have really cold conditions today before getting closer to normal when News 3 This Morning returns.
This
Good morning from the patio. All bundle up this morning because temperatures are cold and wind chills are even colder. Even see a few flurries flying right now in the backyard weather patio. Let's take a look though at high temperatures yesterday across the area. High temperatures climbed only into the low 30s and upper 20s across southern Wisconsin. If we could put those weather maps on the screen, you'll see that Madison hit a high of just 30 degrees yesterday. Today, we won't even top in the 30s. We'll stay in the 20s. It is going to be a frigid start to the day today. Take a look at your high temperatures yesterday across the region. I mentioned we top around 30 here in Madison. Look at those numbers to the north, though. Only 22 for a high in Eau Claire, 23 in Ladysmith, and 25 in Wausau. Those numbers are closer to where we'll be today. WeatherTrack shows you, though, that we are beginning to see some clearing. I don't think we're seeing quite that much clearing just yet. Cloud cover is a tough thing for the satellites to distinguish between the cold ground and those cold cloud temperatures. So it's a little difficult this time of the year, but we will see a clearing trend taking place today. Take a live look from the Edgewater Skycam. Again, you'll see some holes in the cloud cover this morning. The almanac for the day will show you that we should top at 46. We are about 20 degrees below that. And anytime you're talking temperatures 20 degrees off from the normals, that's unseasonable. So unseasonably cold this afternoon. Temperatures this morning are in the teens, 17 here in Madison, 19 in Janesville, 16 in the Dells, only 15 in Monroe this morning. There is a northwesterly wind to factor in, so you need to bundle up this morning. Wind chills are down in the single digits. At least we're not seeing any negative numbers on this map just yet, but it's pretty darn close in many locations. Wind chills through the day are going to only climb back into the teens this afternoon. So here's a look at your FutureTrack forecast model. There will still be some clouds lingering through the morning hours, but they'll continue to clear out as we head towards the middle of the day. A fair amount of sunshine for the afternoon with high temperatures only in the middle 20s. So even though we have the sun, it's going to be frigid today. Temperatures will drop pretty quickly this evening with clear skies expected. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start in the teens once again. Here's a look at that extended forecast, though. Good news. We have sunshine and warmer temperatures on Wednesday and even on Thursday. We're a little closer to normal with highs right around 43 degrees. Doesn't last long, though. We're back into the 30s this weekend. If you are headed out to the woods Saturday morning, temperatures will be in the 20s. There may be a little light snow early. Best chances would be north of Dane County. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. We're starting off watching a crash near Sun Prairie on 151 southbound. It did happen earlier this morning, closing lanes between Highway V and VV. Still has not been officially cleared by the DOT, so make sure you look for delays in that area as volume continues to increase. So far, the Beltline is moving well. No delays showing up yet in either direction. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. Just a few of the usual brake lights on the northbound side of Verona Road near the Beltline. No problems downtown around campus. Volume shouldn't be an issue for another half hour or so. And other main routes heading into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or issues. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. 6:15 your time now. 44 people are now confirmed dead in California's wildfires.
Officials in Northern California say the so-called Camp Fire that wiped out the entire town of Paradise killed all but 2 of those victims, making it the deadliest fire in the state's history.
We've got so many people missing of our neighbors. Our neighbors are gone.
Just awful images as well. Search and recovery crews are still digging through the rubble for more bodies. In Southern California, 2 people have died in the fires that have ravaged areas west of Los Angeles.
We want to go to our meteorologist, Chris Reese, now to explain how these fires get so big so fast, Chris.
That's right, and a large part of that has to do with the wind and really just the vegetation that they have down in Southern California and really just the desert Southwest as a whole. But let's go ahead and break things down. Why do these wildfires happen? Because we see them each and every year, and part of that is the conditions needed for wildfires. You need dry vegetation, low humidity, and you also need the wind. California is keen for having those ingredients. And to start a fire, you need a heat source, fuel, and oxygen. The vegetation of California and the desert Southwest is perfect fuel to drive these fires along. And then once that gets started, all it takes is a little spark to get a little flame. Once you add the wind to the mix, then you get a wildfire fire that spreads rather rapidly. And the wind is also something that's very common down there. You'll hear it known as the Santa Ana winds. And oftentimes you have a region of high pressure over the Pacific Northwest, but that brings in northeasterly winds into the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges. And those winds rush down the mountains, coming at about 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusting up to 60. And that leads to a critical fire danger. So these Santa Ana winds, they come down the mountains. You have this descending dry air that is also very warm air. You also have a lot of the low humidity that leads to a lot of friction to help pull and push a lot of these fires along. And this is some of the same areas where you have the elevated and critical fire risk just as we go through today. But here is the good news. I talked about split flow yesterday. As we go into the Thanksgiving week, we will see storm systems developing off the Pacific coast. Those will work their way into the desert Southwest. And so for California, we actually have a 50% probability of above normal precipitation as we go through the next couple of days, which is of course what they need when it comes to those fires over there. So we're going to be watching their rain chances rather closely and ensuring, or at least hoping anyway, that we can get something for those guys. They really need the relief. It's been dry there for years, and now we're seeing some historic fires.
Hopefully a little bit of good news there. I mean, those images are just so hard to look at.
They really are. And I know the Gatlinburg fire that happened a couple years ago was dire for us in Kentucky and Tennessee, but seeing that almost makes the Gatlinburg fire look like it was nothing.
Deadliest in state history. All right. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
So we do have a positive update to share this morning when it comes to a fire at the Blue Moon Bar and Grill on University Avenue.
Dane County Dispatch says a caller reported a fire in the basement around 5:45, but when crews arrived there was no fire. All crews have been cleared from that scene.
That's what we like to hear. Our crew as well is heading back, so that's always good news. 6:18 right now. There's a program here in Dane County that not only ensures people have the food they need, but also that they know how to prepare it for their families. We'll tell you more about the meal planning and how many people it is helping.
You know what's going to help all of us today? Thinking warm thoughts, strapping on a really, really heavy coat, maybe a fur hat, and thanking Hattie for making sure things get warmer by the end of the week. She'll have an update on your forecast next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning from the News 3 First Alert Weather Center. I thought we'd start with the view in Platteville this morning. First of all, because it shows the most significant clearing taking place across the area. Definitely seeing some blue skies there, a little bit of color on the horizon. Temperatures are cold though. In Platteville, it's 16 degrees. Here in Madison, it's 17. Janesville's still at 19 degrees. Any way you look at it though, you need to bundle up as you head out the door this morning. A northwesterly wind, if that catches you in the face, will definitely wake you up early. Wind chills are in the single digits across most regions. Here's a look at your bus stop weather forecast. Remind the kids to have the extra layers today. It is colder than it typically is this time of the year. 15 as you head off to school with a lot of clouds, but that clearing will continue through the day. So more sunshine as the bus brings you home later on today. High temperatures though will only be in the middle 20s. Stay warm today.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. There's an opportunity for anyone who speaks English as a second language to get some practice on a weekly basis here in Madison. Starting tonight, East High School is hosting free English classes for beginners and intermediate level speakers. A teacher from the Literacy Network will be leading those classes from 5:30 to 7:30 each Tuesday night for the next 6 weeks. Those sessions will focus on helping parents support their child's education. That includes practicing reading skills at home and communicating with teachers. Anyone interested in those classes can register when they get there, and childcare will be provided. The Literacy Network of Dane County is going to share some big news this week. That organization will announce the largest single contribution it has received since 1974. The Oscar Rennenbaum Foundation is awarding that money to support a partnership between the Literacy Network and Madison College to specifically help adult learners. That announcement happens Thursday afternoon. 1 in 7 adults in Dane County does struggle with low literacy levels. And last year, the Literacy Network served more than 1,000 adults, helping them establish reading, writing, and speaking skills needed to secure a stable job.
The county's UW Extension Committee is going to get an update from a nutrition education program today. The UW Extension FoodWise program helps low-income families become more food stable. It also teaches them about spending food share benefits wisely on healthy choices. It's a federally funded program that provides classes out in the community at places like WIC clinics, food pantries, community centers, and in Madison and Sun Prairie schools. FoodWise served almost 4,500 people just in Dane County alone last year. There are bilingual classes taught in Spanish, Hmong, and Mandarin. For more information about those classes, you can go to dane.uwx.edu. All right, time now is 6:24. There is a new effort to address infant mortality in Dane County, particularly for African-American women.
And there are more confirmed cases of a polio-like disease here in Wisconsin, most affecting children here in the state. We'll have an update when News 3 This Morning continues. Future flooding and the prison population, just some of the things next year's budget will address here in Dane County. We'll break down what was approved overnight.
The new tax law put in place this year is causing some concern for local nonprofits. I'm Josh Bird live in Middleton with how much these charities could potentially lose.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:28 now on this Tuesday, November 13th. Luckily, our temperature doesn't quite match the date, the 13th, but boy, is it close.
It is way too close for comfort. The last time we checked, we were 20 degrees colder than Anchorage, Alaska.
Boo.
Maybe that's why Hattie's got on her Siberian fur hat this morning. How's it going out there, Hads?
All the layers this morning.
All the layers.
If you are in any bit of a wind this morning, it feels pretty darn cold. And of course, we're used to cold temperatures here in Wisconsin, but it's getting colder a lot faster this year than it typically would. Here's a live look from the WIC-TV Skycam. We still have quite a few clouds in the area, but definitely some holes in the clouds this morning, which is encouraging. Skies will continue to clear, which means sunshine for us today. But it will be deceiving. You have to bundle up. Temperatures are about 10 degrees colder this morning than they were yesterday at this time. Here are the actual numbers. It's down in the teens. We've been pretty steady for the last hour or so here in Madison at 17. 15 in Monroe, 16 in Platteville and the Dells. Wind chills, though, are in the single digits this morning. Take a look at that temperature trend. Not much of a trend today. We're only going to highs in the mid-20s this afternoon. 26 right around 3 p.m. should be the official high here in Madison. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We've been following an accident that occurred earlier just north of Sun Prairie on 151 southbound. Hasn't been cleared just yet, so the road is still blocked between Highway V and VV in north of Sun Prairie, in between Sun Prairie and Columbus. Here in the Madison area, it looks like there may be an incident as you head downtown on University Avenue. Also some slowdowns heading inbound on Park Street as well. But look at your travel times, a little slower than normal on 151 northbound towards the Beltline. Otherwise looking pretty good this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Hattie. Dane County's new budget means property taxes will decrease for the first time in almost 20 years by about $8. The Cap Times reports the Board of Supervisors adopted the 2019 capital and operating budgets last night. It includes $18 million to address flooding prevention and $2 million to improve water flow in the Yahara chain. $6 million will go to the county's Affordable Housing Fund, and there's another $355,000 slated for initiatives to reduce the prison population. That has become increasingly important after last year's $76 million jail consolidation project that reduced the available number of beds by 10%. The budget allocates $30,000 for violence prevention in the area around the Follett High School. A teen was shot in that neighborhood during a fight earlier this fall.
There's a new effort being announced later this morning that will help reduce infant mortality, particularly for African-American families. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi will join Representative-elect Sheila Stubbs, who is the first black woman to represent the county in the state legislature, along with leaders from the African-American Council of Churches. Together, they will introduce an initiative to reduce infant deaths this morning. Dane County's black infant mortality rate is 3 times the rate of white babies. Back in January, the Baby Box Company launched a statewide program to address unsafe sleeping environments. And then in April, a couple groups came together and launched a campaign to help identify solutions to the public health problem. Black babies in Dane County are twice as likely to be born with low birth weights compared to white babies.
Tonight, Common Council members will be talking about a $600,000 payment to the developer working on the Judge Doyle Square project downtown. 2 weeks ago, council was just 1 vote short of the 11 it needed to approve that payment to Beitler Real Estate. 2 alders were missing from that meeting. Beitler previously filed and then dropped a lawsuit against the city over that dispute. Meanwhile, the State Journal reports the city is working with Beitler to speed up the construction process once the underground parking garage is finished there next fall.
Your time right now, 6:32, and nonprofits in our area are concerned about the impact next year's tax filing could have on donations during this year's holiday season.
Some experts say they could be losing out on tens of billions of dollars during this season of giving, and it all has to do with your deduction. Josh Breiter is live in Middleton this morning with the details. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We're live at the Gilda's Clubhouse this morning, where they're still recovering from more than $1 million in flooding damage from this summer. Now, to add on to that, Gilda's is uncertain what the new tax plan is going to mean for them this year. The plan put in place by Congress and passed in 2017 nearly doubles the standard deduction for individuals and families. While that simplifies the filing process, it will likely complicate the process for many who have made a habit of deducting their charitable contributions. The standard deduction rose to $12,000 for individuals and $24,000 for married couples. So many taxpayers who used to itemize deductions may find it's no longer beneficial for them to do so. This leaves some nonprofits, Gilda's Club especially, facing a new challenge.
But for us to continue to raise funds through year end so that we can bring our clubhouse back to 100% is critical for us, so that families don't have to wait and they can get support when they need it the most.
Obviously, it's been a tough year already for Gilda's as they've been forced to move and deal with all of the after effects of the flooding. They've spent the last few months spread out across town trying to continue their programs, and if all goes as planned, they will be back in here by January. So that's some good news, but they're looking at a lot this year, ladies.
Yeah, and it's something you really don't think about this time of year. It's really something you think about during tax return season, but hopefully these nonprofits can find a little bit of relief. All right, Josh Breiter reporting live for us. Thank you, Josh.
6:34 right now. The State Department of Health Services says there are now 6 confirmed cases of a potentially paralyzing illness here in Wisconsin. The State Journal reports 5 of those acute flaccid myelitis cases involve children. 4 patients are from southeastern Wisconsin. 2 live in the southern part of the state. AFM, as it's called, presents like polio and could result in paralysis. The CDC has confirmed 80 total cases across 25 states so far this year. Health experts are reminding parents to make sure their kids are up to date on vaccines and are washing their hands frequently.
As we get into winter and more folks crank up the heat, officials say they start seeing more house fires. And now the Janesville Fire Department has a new tool to help save both you and your pets. Around 40,000 pets die in fires every year, which is why the company Invisible Fence is helping first responders save more of our four-legged friends with oxygen masks for pets. If a pet has inhaled too much smoke, first responders can hook up the masks to oxygen tanks and fit them around an animal's snout to give life-saving care. Pretty cool.
That is a pretty cool. I mean, I know it's been around for a little while, but just to see it in another department is a pretty neat thing.
Very.
Yeah. All right. 6:35 right now. We are following the ongoing investigation in Baraboo after a photo of high schoolers doing a Nazi salute circulated around the country yesterday. We'll have more on that in the morning sprint.
And warm up the car horns and pack your patience. Low gas prices around the state are helping more people hit the road for Thanksgiving dinner this year. We'll share the latest predictions on travel when News 3 This Morning continues.
Welcome back. 6:39 on this Tuesday morning, and we want to share this one from Patricia. We want to apologize. We have the name a little bit wrong here. It happens when you wake up this early in the morning.
True.
However, we had to share this picture because it's just absolutely beautiful outside of our old workplace in Verona. So, Patricia, thank you so much for sending this one in. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, Patricia, you're making us making it a little bit easier for us to wake up on this Tuesday morning. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on the program.
So if you thought we couldn't pack more people onto the roads for the holidays, you better think again. AAA estimates nearly 5% more will travel for Thanksgiving this year compared to last. That could make drive times in some of the country's bigger cities up to 4 times longer than normal. More than 54% of Americans are expected to travel at least 50 miles next week. That makes it the largest Thanksgiving travel volume since 2005. Now, AAA says travel on Thanksgiving Day, Friday, and Saturday will be bad, but Sunday is expected to be the worst.
Contractors are moving a Christmas tree this morning from Plainfield, Wisconsin to Madison after it was chosen to be featured in the Capitol Rotunda. The 40-foot balsam fir was cut down just south of Stevens Point yesterday. A family there donated it from their front yard. They say while they're sad to see it go, they're so excited for a new family memory, knowing the tree they saw every day outside their window will now be the centerpiece of holiday festivities in the Capitol.
I wonder how many times they've gotten it out of somebody's front yard rather than a tree farm.
What a random place to do it, but look how big that tree is.
It is a huge tree. They're going to have a lot more sunshine coming in there.
That's true.
All right, brisk, frigid, Arctic, wintry, numbing, polar, however you want to put it. Fact is, it is cold out there today. Yes, I know how to use a thesaurus. It's just going to stay cold out there as well. Hattie has all the layers kind of forecast ready to go. She will prepare us all for the 20s after the break.
But first, it's November 13th. We want to say happy birthday to Logan, Lucille, Sophia, and all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Bundle up, and thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 this morning. All right, welcome back. We have an exciting update on our furry friends over at the Henry Vilas Zoo.
We were trying to watch the zoo
him.
cam. Yeah, he was there. We swear one of them was there. We will check in later, maybe. Barrett, the older female polar bear in the Arctic exhibit, not there this morning, not outside at least. She has officially been denned up. That's because her handlers are hoping she is pregnant. There's no way to test for that, so it's a wait-and-see kind of situation. That means if you've been watching the zoo cam as well, you are seeing 2-year-old Nanique swimming and walking around. You may remember he just moved into the zoo last month. He came from Columbus, Ohio. The zoo says they will now not introduce Nanique and Barrett until January, when they know for sure whether or not Barrett is pregnant.
We get inordinately excited when we see these little guys swimming around. You'd think they'd be out today, Hads, because it's perfect polar bear weather, huh?
Yeah, ordered this right up for the polar bear. I think they're the only ones excited about these cold temperatures so early on. Take a look at our temperature trend, really up and down over the next 10 days. We are on the downside of things today with temperatures about 20 degrees below normal for this time of the year. You'll see we climb back up to Thursday, but then head back down into the 30s for the weekend. So opening weekend of the gun deer hunt season is going to be a very chilly one. Temperatures are expected, though, to warm through next week. And here's that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, which actually takes us to the end of November. A pretty good chance for above average temperatures from the Mississippi River Valley all the way to the Pacific Ocean. But here in the Great Lakes region, not as much of an indication one way or the other of those temperatures. Our weather track satellite and radar models combined this morning will show you that there is some precipitation to the south, rain and snow across parts of Kentucky into southern Ohio this morning. Things are very quiet, though, here. Skies are actually beginning to clear, which is good news. We'll see more sunshine today as high pressure builds in from the west. Any chances for snow will stay well to our north today. A warm front moving across the plains will start to warm things up gradually over the next couple of days. We're not going to see a huge climb in temperatures, but we'll be back a little closer to normal. Now, with quiet weather around here, no airport delays being reported in this part of the country. Actually looking pretty good travel delay-wise right now. We're not reporting any major delays. Keep in mind, though, on the East Coast, all the way from New Orleans and Atlanta up into New York, it's going to be a wet day today, so that could slow travel down there. Unfortunately, no rain along the west coast. They actually need the rain there, but sunshine in the forecast and mild temperatures. We'll have sunshine here through the midsection of the country, but it is going to be quite cold. Chicago staying below the freezing point today as well. Take a look at the current temperatures across the upper Midwest. Chicago's at 19 right now, drops to 8 in Minneapolis and 0 in International Falls this morning. So a frigid start up there. We're talking temperatures in the teens this morning here for southern Wisconsin. Wind chill is a factor, though. Here's what it feels like on your face this morning. It feels like 5 degrees in Lone Rock, 2 in Platteville, just 5 in the Dells and 6 here in Madison. Sunshine will be a nice change, though, over the last couple of days. Temperatures will climb back to 26 in Middleton as well as Watertown. To the west, mid-20s there as well. Here are the numbers: 23 in Prairie du Chien, 24 today in Mineral Point. To the north, low 20s from Boston all the way over to Princeton. But at least we have that sunshine. Here in Madison, we'll top at 26 degrees, 36 though tomorrow, and then 43 on Thursday with quiet weather expected. There is a chance for some light snow late Friday into Saturday. Not a lot here in southern Wisconsin, and then mainly dry through the upcoming weekend. Here's our pet walk.
Smooch.
Oh, Zoe and Roger in Monroe. That's very cute.
That is pretty cute.
Holiday loving right there.
They'll need each other to stay warm today.
They will. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The morning sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning. 6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie has January-like temperatures with highs barely getting into the mid-20s.
And Josh Spreiter is talking about how the new tax law is impacting local nonprofits. But we start in Baraboo, where a controversial prom photo of high school students apparently giving the Nazi salute has gone viral. At last night's school board meeting, the president said he was ashamed, appalled, and angered. Both the school and the police department are investigating to see if anyone should be criminally charged. Just after 7 this morning, CBS This Morning is going to be talking with 18-year-old Jordan Blue, who's in that picture but did not do the salute. He'll explain why the photographer's claim that the picture is innocent is not true.
2 people charged in connection with beating a man and leaving him to die in a Lodi home are set to be back in court this afternoon. 20-year-old Michaela Tracy and 21-year-old Drew Luber face felony murder charges in the death of Dalton Ziegler. Now, prosecutors say Tracy thought Ziegler was cheating on her and asked Luber and another man, Jacob Johnson, to confront him. They allegedly beat him and left him alone. Ziegler was found dead the next morning.
Suspended Badgers wide receiver Quintez Cephas will be in court this morning for one of the last times before his sexual assault trial begins. He's accused of sexually assaulting 2 women who were drinking at his apartment back in April. Cephas filed a lawsuit against UW last month, claiming his rights were violated during the university's investigation. Jury selection for Cephas's case is scheduled to begin in January.
Search and recovery teams are looking for any sign of those missing in California this morning. 44 people are confirmed dead as a result of the wildfires there. All but 2 of those victims were killed in what's known as the Camp Fire in the northern part of the state, making it the deadliest wildfire in California history.
We're looking forward to some clearing today across southern Wisconsin. Already able to see the sunshine early this morning from the Edgewater Skycam. Clouds will continue to break up today. Wind chills, though, this morning are down in the single digits in many locations. So bundle up as you head out the door. Take a look at your temperature trend today. Temps climbing only into the middle 20s this afternoon.
Thanks, Hattie. Arizona will send its first Democrat to the Senate in almost a quarter century. Just yesterday, Kyrsten Sinema declared victory nearly a week after the midterm elections. Sinema beat Republican Martha McSally in the heated contest to replace Jeff Flake, who did not seek re-election. She's also the first female senator in Arizona history.
Today is the deadline for county canvassing boards here in Wisconsin to start the process of approving election results. Those results need to be sent to the Wisconsin Elections Commission by Friday, and then the state has until December 1st to certify those totals.
At the state capitol, the Joint Finance Committee will meet today to talk about the cost of transitioning power to Governor-elect Tony Evers. The governor-elect has already named some of the members of his cabinet, including a former UW Board of Regents president, a former Teacher of the Year, and the CEO of Exact Sciences. Evers will keep his current role as state superintendent until he's sworn in on January 7th.
New overnight, Dane County's 2019 budget is officially approved. The Cap Times reports this is the first budget in nearly 20 years that actually lowers property taxes in Dane County. It also includes $20 million for flood prevention and water flow improvements in the Yahara Lake chain. $6 million will go toward affordable housing, and $350,000 will help reduce the prison population.
Today, Dane County Executive Joe Parisi, Representative-elect Sheila Stubbs, and leaders from the African American Council of Churches will all talk about a new effort to reduce infant mortality. Dane County's black infant mortality rate is 3 times the rate of white babies. The community conversation on solutions like making sure sleeping conditions are safe for babies is happening today at 11 at Mount Zion Church.
Dane County's UW Extension Committee will be updated today on a nutrition education program that serves thousands of families here in the county. The FoodWise program helps low-income families in particular become more food secure and teaches them about spending food share benefits wisely on healthy choices.
I'm Josh Spreiter live at Gilda's Club in Middleton, where officials are urging you to remember your favorite charities and nonprofits this holiday season. The new tax plan passed by Congress last year nearly doubles the standard deduction, rising to $12,000 for individuals and $24,000 for married couples. While that simplifies the filing process, it will likely complicate the process for many who have made a habit of deducting their charitable contributions. Many taxpayers who have used the itemized deductions may find it's no longer beneficial for them to do so, leaving nonprofits like Gilda's Club wondering what's ahead. Though Gilda's knows our community will never stop giving, they do know that tax incentives are important to how much people give.
Thank you, Josh. Tonight, Common Council members will be talking about a $600,000 payment to the developer working on the Judge Doyle Square project downtown. 2 weeks ago, Council was just 1 vote short of the 11 it needed to approve that payment to Beitler Real Estate. 2 alders were missing from the meeting. Beitler previously filed and then dropped a lawsuit against the city over funding for that project.
The State Department of Health Services says there are now 6 confirmed cases of a polio-like disease here in Wisconsin. Most of the acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, patients are children. That's according to the State Journal this morning. The CDC has confirmed 80 cases across this country. The cause is unknown.
6:56 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with the final look at your First Alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, all southbound lanes at Highway 151 near Sun Prairie remain closed between Highway V and County Highway VV because of a crash. You will want to plan ahead. Delays are growing in that area. And westbound Beltline, you're picking up near the Stoughton Road exit, but really nothing to slow you down more than a minute or two. Inbound John Olin getting busier between Rimrock and Olin Avenue, moving into downtown. But other main routes heading into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds right now with no major crashes or delays. To your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And this morning, nice to see those clouds breaking up a little bit across southern Wisconsin. Here's the view from our Edgewater Sky Cam, the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville this morning. Nice oranges and yellows in the sky there. Our forecast today, not very warm. 26 is the high this afternoon.
You know what? We will take those cold temperatures if it comes with some gorgeous sun this morning. Grab your gloves. Make sure you grab that extra heavy winter jacket. And get outside and enjoy that sun a little bit today. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert weather app and start planning.